Welcome to HortTube, where we talk all things gardening. My name is Jim Putnam, and this is a Degroot Spire Arborvitae. This is a Degroot Spire Arborvitae. Very low maintenance, upright, narrow conifer. Has a lot of uses in the landscape. Degroot Spire Arborvitae can reach 15 to 20 feet tall and 4 to 5 feet wide. It's a very slow growing conifer, so I wouldn't be scared to plant this plant someplace where you need something that only gets 10 feet and 2 to 3 feet wide, because it's gonna be a very long time before it outgrows the space. Degroot is a very cold hardy conifer and can grow in horticultural zones 3 to 8. Like most arborvitaes, Degroots would prefer full sun, maybe a couple hours shade a day, but really if you're putting this in a lot of shade, it's gonna thin out very quickly and perform very poorly. Degroot Spire has many uses, one of which would be on a foundation on a corner where you want something tall and narrow that doesn't end up against the house. Another use would be in colder climates. It would make a great screening plant between you and a neighbor, especially if you have a smaller lot and you can't allow the shrub that you're using to get very wide because these are so tall and narrow. And also make great container plants. Really super easy container plant, and it's so cold tolerant it can stay out and we don't have to worry about protecting them in the wintertime. This is a pretty easy plant to grow, and there's not a lot of special considerations when planting. We actually grow these in a pine bark mix, which drains them pretty well. So if you have clay, you can get some of this finely ground pine bark and mix that 50-50 with the clay that comes out of the hole. If you have sandier soils, you might want to add some peat moss or compost or cow manure, something that will hold a little moisture in between waterings. We might want to leave these up a couple inches when we're planting them and pull the soil up to the edge of that, and then lightly mulch with pine straw, hardwood mulch, some kind of dyed hardwood mulch. Any of those things are fine. And you can have it be thicker out away from the plant and then fade it out before it reaches the base of the plant. We don't want to cover anything that's not covered. These could be fertilized in the spring. Pretty much any kind of outdoor plant fertilizer would probably be fine. I wouldn't put a lot on them. No real reason to. They're kind of slow and steady. Degroot Spire is reasonably drought tolerant. If it was abnormally dry, I would probably drag a water hose to it in the summer, especially once one is up 6 or 8 feet tall. Because if they ever do get drought stressed and maybe brown out in a space at the bottom of the plant, it takes a long time for that to recover. So it's best just not to let it happen in the first place. These can be sheared whenever you need to. If you've got like this piece sitting off here on the side, would be a good candidate. You can just take it all the way down to the base here, and this plant would have a lot better structure at that point without that piece sticking out on the side. Other than that, they really don't need a lot of pruning. They take this natural, upright, narrow growth habit on their own. One nice thing about using arborvitaes instead of something like junipers is they're not really prickly. These are kind of soft to the touch, which is nice if you have to go out and do any kind of maintenance or you're moving one or planting one for the first time. You don't end up as an itchy mess. For insect and disease problems, conifers are susceptible to mites when they're stressed. They can also get bagworms. Most of the time you're gonna see that when the plants are in stressed conditions. The worst bagworm conditions I see are usually when people have their Leyland cypress planted 3 feet apart, or they have their conifers in the shade and the plant's under some sort of stress. Generally in the landscape, you're not gonna see a lot of problems on a healthy, mulched, watered, maintained arborvitae. This is Degroot Spire in a container. It's been in this container for about 2 years. It's probably grown almost 2 feet in that time, but that's with me fertilizing it and watering it. I have to water it almost daily now. It needs a new container. It needs a slightly bigger container at this point. I'm sure it's fairly root bound. But you can see, super low maintenance really. Drag a water hose over to it, fertilize it a couple times a year, throw some Christmas lights on it when it's time. Easy peasy. So what are you waiting for? Even you can grow Degroot Spire Arborvitae. Thank you for watching, and if this video was helpful, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Also, comment in the bottom with anything that you'd like to see in future videos and any other questions you might have on Degroot Spire Arborvitae. Thank you. So you're really just going to lay right in this shot. You People are going to think Degroot's arborvitae is your favorite plant. These are not weeds in these containers. These are bonus plants.